Good morning to all my fellow Americans and people from Cuba, the opposition, and from Venezuela and Nicaragua. Here I am once again. My name is Eduardo Rodriguez, and here to inform of things that are happening. Yesterday, I was watching a video with Charlie Kirk interviewing a communist, a full-fledged communist, a young guy. But the guy was kind of like, how you call it, cynical. He was laughing at Charlie Kirk at every single minute with the cynical, stupid smile, laugh. I mean, and I forgot the name of the punk. But Charlie Kirk, I believe, made a couple of mistakes in his arguments, which Charlie Kirk is brilliant, but he kind of forgot to tell him when the guy was praising China, because he said, China, we all know, is a communist country of oppression. The economy once was in the sinkhole, but then suddenly the leaders realized that they needed to open up the free marketing, because if not, they were never going to get ahead. The country was not going to progress, no way, under the communist, under the pure Marxism. Charlie Kirk should have told him, look, China has opened up to free marketing, like I just said, to counterattack this guy who said, China's a pure communist country. It's not a pure communist country. It's a hypocritical dictatorship, communist dictatorship, where you can't express anything that's contrary, because they'll put you in prison, they'll make you disappear, or probably murder you. And they're still doing it. They still have this communist oppression, which is kind of, in some cases, fatal. But then they open up to free market, and that's why now China is a super economic power. Not because of communism, it's because of capitalism. Now they're practicing capitalism. Now you got a lot of rich people there. But this communist punk, Charlie Kirk, at some point, I think he forgot, and I respect Charlie Kirk, I think he's brilliant, but at some point I kind of saw him get a little bit nervous dealing with this punk, because he was laughing sarcastically at Charlie Kirk in some instances, which I found very disrespectful. But then the only thing I applaud Charlie Kirk is that he didn't terminate the interview, because I would have thrown him out. I would have said, get the hell out of here. You're communist. Go live in North Korea. There's pure communism. I want you to see swallow that one, or go to Cuba and see how you do in Cuba. But the guy's so cynical, he'll probably make it in Cuba, because Cuba looking for people like that, cynical, sarcastic, stupid, and evil. So there was another point. I'm trying to remember the other point during the conversation, because the guy was not stupid. Some of these communists, they're brilliant defending their point, and they'll come up right away. But Charlie Kirk counterattacked with other situations. But I can't kind of think he kind of like lost it a little bit, because there were arguments that could have been counterattacked perfectly. He could have been brilliant. He could have come out on top and make the punk look like what he was, an evil, disgusting punk. But I don't consider myself brilliant like Charlie Kirk. But Charlie Kirk, you're brilliant. It's just you have to kind of like polish a little bit some things when they come up, because these people they'll come up with real quick. The young kid was, the guy had I think was a degree in biology or science or something. I just forgot. And he was pretty smart. But there's ways to counterattacking these people. You know, they won't wake up until they live it. Another thing that now I remember, Charlie Kirk came up with the Islamic living under China while being oppressed. You know, I wouldn't mention that. You know, I wouldn't mention that because, you know, the kid, which I applaud one point, you know, he told him, oh, but these guys are accused of terrorism. Right there, he mopped the floor with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, don't mention Islam in these communist countries because these people are terrorists. They've demonstrated in the United States. They decapitated people. They've murdered people in mass. You don't, just in case you don't remember what happened in California and other places where people were murdered in mass. Even a person that was in the military, a colonel, a Muslim colonel, who massacred people on the base. And another case of another Muslim who was invited and suddenly came out and massacred some of the personnel in the base. You know, these people shouldn't be allowed in the United States. The people that are here already, they should be deported. I'm sorry, you got to go. Or you convert to Christianity, to our way of life, or you got to go, period. They won't allow it. They won't allow it. I wanted to see this communist punk go to Iraq, to an Islamic state, pure Islamic state, and see if he can laugh out like he did with Charlie Kirk and defend communism and start laughing out and calling them terrorists. See how long he lasts. I bet he won't come back alive. He'll come back most probably in a bag, in a duffel bag without a head. You know, Charlie Kirk, if you're going to defend your point, don't mention Islam, because you're going to destroy yourself. I mean, the kid already knew it. Well, he was a young guy, I think 30 years old, I don't know, something like that. I think he mentioned the age. I just forgot. So God bless you, Charlie Kirk. I applaud you. Brilliant, but you got to polish a lot of points, because those points, if you're not careful, they will destroy you. Because these kids that you're bringing in, you know, they're not stupid. This kid was so stupid. But I don't believe he's stupid. What I believe is he's pure evil, because he was defending everything that evil on the communism. He was attacking the United States. It's not that we haven't made mistakes, because we have made mistakes, atrocious mistakes, but not as bad as communists. You know, there's some things you got to be careful, Charlie Kirk, because you're very good, but you know, I don't think I could have handled it that well, especially with this guy's stupid laughing. But you know, probably I could have probably on a calm, you know, what Charlie Kirk you should have done is maintain yourself calm, and not lose it. You kind of like lose it a little bit. You know, I can understand, because these people are terrible. Communists are terrible. It's the communism which Joe Biden wants to impose upon us, which is destroying our economy, and they will how you call it, accomplish it if we let them. If we let them, they will accomplish it. Hopefully, I hope it doesn't. But we're so far into to Joe Biden's destruction, and with him including, which he did on purpose, including Secretary of Finance Bernie Sanders, a communist, a hardcore communist, and AOC and many others of the squad. This lady called Column, I forget her whole name, who defunded Black Lives Matter and bought mansions and property and have security guards, and she emptied the donations that were made to Black Lives Matter. Most probably by Joe Soros, because it was millions. She couldn't get millions with her brains. There's no way she could have gotten millions. She did it by defrauding the Black Lives Matter fund, and the Black Lives Matter members were bamboozled. Like always, I want to mention Cuba. Because by mentioning Cuba and showing what's happening in Cuba, you're going to realize it's the same thing that the communists want to impose here, Biden's communist regime. And he's doing it on purpose with the same determination and the same system. In Cuba, they are threatening people of the press, independent journalists. This was in Cubanet. I saw this video on Cubanet. And they're threatening them with 5 years of prison just because they're how you call it, expressing, denouncing, and reporting on the situation in Cuba, which is grave, which is deplorable and horrible. I mean, it's a freaking nightmare. And you cannot complain. I saw a case about a driver, like an Uber driver or a taxi driver, and they were fining him because he left the vehicle because he had no gas and he couldn't afford the gas. There was something problem, mechanical, and you know, there's not he can't get the parts, and they fine him. So, you know, they're just destroying the business. It's just like Bernie Sanders wants to do by imposing a 95% tax. A capitalist, Bernie Sanders, a capitalist, who's a millionaire. He doesn't mention millionaire before. First he was saying millionaires and billionaires. Now he doesn't mention a millionaire because he is a millionaire. These people are thieves, criminals, and murderers. This kind of people Joe Biden is putting in his administration and his staff. He's filling them out with Muslim who want the destruction of talking about destruction. I got it right here, something I wrote about it. But here, let me finish with Cuba. Also, Cuba is falling apart. The buildings are in conditions that the people that are living there are afraid it's gonna cave in and kill people. You see the bases, the column of the base of these columns, what used to be, from the 30s and probably 40s, these cement columns reduced on the bottom to almost nothing, where they can collapse one moment or another because of the weight. And they don't care. And if the journalists there, independent journalists there in Cuba, I was going to say Puerto Rico, that's where I live and where I'm reporting it from, or videotaping from. These people, you know, they'll arrest and they'll put them in prison because they're telling the truth. This is why I speak about Cuba, because Cuba is an example and it's been like this for over 63 years. There's no free elections there. The kind of election that they have there is controlled, just like in communist North Korea and Venezuela, where they appoint their own. One communist against another communist, you know, which is a joke. And they call it free elections there in Cuba. And then they do like the communists in the United States, like Bernie Sanders. I mean, like Bernie Sanders or like Joe Biden. You know, they'll do the same thing. You know, they'll use the same tactics. If you complain about what's happening, and Joe Biden's illegitimacy, just like Diaz-Canel, who is not a president elected by the people, he's illegitimate. Just the same way, you know, he was appointed there. He was put there. Well, if you complain in the United States, they'll do the same. They use the same tactics. No, you're a bigot. No, you're a racist. No, you're against the Constitution. They use the same tactics in Cuba. The fake, false Constitution that they have there, or what they have, you know, is set up by them. It has been how you call parts of the laws that have been corrected or they've been changed to fit their own narrative. It's the same thing. Pretty soon it's going to happen here in the United States. They're going to change the Constitution or they're going to remove it. Well, they don't have to remove it. What they have to do is just change the laws. Well, they want to do it with the Second Amendment. Okay, now, let me see. The Second Amendment is another condition of the communists. They want to remove it because they know that arming the people is a danger to them. Because they know the people can revolt and remove them by force. This is why I don't believe in peaceful tactics with the removal in Cuba of the communist regime or in Venezuela. I don't believe in it. You know, I respect them, like José Daniel Ferrer Garcia, who's innocent, fighting for the freedom of the island of Cuba, and the removal of this nightmare, of the communist nightmare that they're going through. And the other political prisoners, you know, I respect them. But I do not believe in a peaceful, because look how many years, 63 years. And they'll die doing it peacefully, because the situation is not like what Gandhi did in India under English rule, which was a different story, because they had laws which the English respected and had to respect because it was a solid, strong constitution. And they had to change. And Gandhi was successful because he knew about it, because he was a lawyer. But it's not the same thing like in Cuba or in any communist country. They will select, if you can't get a lawyer, which you probably won't be able to, because where's the money? Unless it comes from people in the exile who will donate and help out. But then they'll put up, if you can, or the person doesn't have the resources or doesn't have the connection, they'll put up one of these communist lawyers who just say, hey, just declare yourself, I forget the word, guilty. Declare yourself guilty. And forget about it. You're guilty, and even if you're not guilty. And then they'll say, he declared it, he signed that he was guilty. He declared himself guilty, even though it was by force or by threat. You know, they've done it, because I've been on this for years, since like about 2002, monitoring and checking out and reading and with connections with Cubans in exile here in Puerto Rico, and abroad. Seeing the videos, hearing them. I'm not the best of making these videos, but I'm trying. I'm trying little by little. Now, since I lose my memory, like you see right now, what I'm doing is I'm writing things down. Hopefully, I won't forget. Now, this strikes down. Okay, Democrat from Florida, Andrew Gillum. That's another pearl. The guy who was running for governor of Florida. Indicted on 21 federal charges, including conspiracy and wire fraud for funding donations to third party back to himself. How convenient, for personal use. Also charged with making false statements to FBI. Wow. Hey, why not do it to Biden? He's making false statements. He's doing things that are treacherous. Why not touch him? Why not arrest him? Why not indict him? But the problem is not that. The problem is that they have the power and they can abuse it. And they have people in strategic places, strategic positions of power, where no matter how you try, you can't touch the guy, because they're judges, many of them, in the courts, lawyers, even in the FBI. I hope not, but from what I'm seeing, it's like that. They have people, communists, empowered in the FBI agency. I hope it's not the case. But why are they haven't arrested Joe Biden? Why haven't they arrested Hillary? Why haven't they arrested many other higher positions than this guy Andrew Gillum? Andrew Gillum. Why haven't they arrested a whole bunch? You know, a lot of them should be in prison, even for life. How come they haven't arrested the Capitol cop who murdered Ashley Babbitt? How about the guy who killed Dorn? I think it was this retired police officer who was shot in the back of the head, who was working as a security part-time retired police officer. David Dorn, I think, if I'm not mistaken, right now. God, thank you for reminding me. You know, I'm going to be on this, I'm going to try to be back tomorrow, because I'm going to keep on writing and picking up information to let you know what's happening. There's a lot of people better than I am. You got Dan Bongino, you got Jericho Green, you got Anthony Brian Logan, which is great. There's many others, Brandon Tatum, and the African Americans, many of the ones that I mentioned. But then you got also Dr. Steve Turley. They are just better than I am. You know, hey, I don't blame you if you go to them and forget about me. I don't blame you. But I'm going to try to be better and better by making, writing down, making my list here to make sure I can be better and to make you wake up to see what's happening, especially with the situation in Cuba. Oh, and don't forget, let's support the national strike in Cuba of the opposition against this nightmare called communism in Cuba. These people are terrible. They just destroyed the country, and they have no right to be in a situation of power. This is why, you know, I believe in the Constitution, but I don't believe in the rights of communists and Islamic terrorists. They have no right in our society. I mean, you can, you know, it's stupid to put people that want to destroy our country in positions of rights. Sometimes even more rights than we do, because they're bringing in illegals, including terrorists, Islamic, or Muslims. Hey, I don't trust none of them. Bringing them in by the hundreds. As a matter of fact, there's even an office, I think in Tijuana, where they're processing them, help processing them in. The Democrat Party is no longer a Democrat Party. It's now a terrorist, criminal, syndicate organization, which is determined on destroying our country. God bless America. God bless all my friends. God bless many of you who are just worried and who are fighting to keep our democracy. To keep our democracy, but not with communism, not with communism and with Islamism. So God bless you all. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Bye-bye.